Oh, we're live. Of course
We are.
You said the word knob. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Disability Horizons TV. We're both actually in our living rooms today. Zec, of course, lives in his palatial mansion, and I'm on my sofa that I bought from Maid. And with that, we're going to talk today about the energy crisis and the looming financial moment that's coming up. And now I'm going to do my trendy pan because I've got my laptop on wheels to make it look like
Mick's not on wheels today. His laptop's on wheels.
No, I'm not. I've got the Yes, I am afraid that the pain problem that I've been having has got to the point now where I spend my day here on the sofa or in bed or laying flat on the floor, the only place where the pain doesn't actually hurt. So no more studio because I can't spend 40 minutes sat up in front of my computer in my wheelchair. So you've got me here at home. And the strange noise that you may be able to hear is my jet fan that's on, which of course is wonderful with today's subject about the energy crisis.
We're just wasting electricity. Sod
We're
it.
just blowing it around.
Put the fans on.
Now, what we are going to be talking about today is what everybody's talking about. What Martin Lewis from Money Saving Expert has been not only talking about, but kind of gradually you've watched the poor guy's mental health just go ooh, as he keeps trying to tell people with the power to do something what is actually happening, and no one is really listening.
Well, they are, but those people are saying to him, "Oh, you're being dramatic. Stop it.
Yes,
you're making it worse."
It's not a catastrophe.
No.
It's not a catastrophe. No, it's not for you with your big house and your millions of pounds. Although today, I think it was Faye Ripley, I'm not sure, but I saw someone on Twitter saying that they, a famous TV person with money and stuff, and they lived in a quite a nice old house, quite drafty, and they've been quoted £13,000 a year for their gas and electricity, and like even the middle classes are going, no, can't afford that. But we, as disabled people, have more to worry about than most, I think.
We do.
Whether you like it or not, we have stuff that we cannot do without. Whether it's powering your power chair, whether it's breathing equipment, whatever, we have to have that stuff.
And we're at home 24/7.
Yeah. And I mean, I was going to say that as well. That, I now am working from home. I'm very lucky. I've got my new wonderful job with Fab, so I'm able to work from home. It's an inclusive organization, so that's great. We're all allowing that to happen. I've got it all set up on my little laptop here. But it means that I am at home all day. I don't leave the house at the minute. I'm not well enough. So at the minute it's warm. It's so warm, I'm wasting electricity on a fan.
Yeah, sod the expense.
What happens when winter comes? When the heat needs to go off?
Well, it's not happening here. I can tell you that. Me and Mrs. Richardson have decided, no, even though there's that much, and I'm not kidding, there's that much gap under the front door at the bottom and the top, and we can't screw anything to the bottom of the front door because it falls apart. But, the draft that comes out the bathroom is massive. And we're going to, no heating in the autumn. And when winter comes, I've looked it up. If you get 16 degrees and below, you start getting in trouble. So we're going to really splash the cash. And 17 degrees it will be in the Richardson house. British Gas said in 2018, if you turn down by 1 degree, was it 18 or 8? It was one of them. It had an 8 in it. I can tell you that. You'll save 80 quid. What was that? 80 quid. Anyway, you'll save £80 a year. So what must that be now? 1 degree has got to be double that. So normally we're on 20, 21. So we're going to go right the way down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, because this is the thing, is everyone's talking about, if you you know, wash up rather than use your dishwasher, if you do this rather than that, you can save £20 or when we're talking
quid.
about 30, like £3,000 to £4,000, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference because it's unimaginably expensive. Whatever happens, isn't it? I mean, really, if you get cold and get ill, then
I mean, you get more chance of respiratory diseases. Your house is more liable to get mold at those lower levels. You know, all those issues of so many of us where the cold brings the aches and pains on even worse, doesn't it? Latest that I saw £1.85 just to have a shower in the morning. Well, Boris says if you buy yourself a kettle, a brand new kettle, you save yourself £10 a year in electricity. So off you go, splash the cash on a new kettle.
But what about people like me that boil their kettle on the hob?
Well, no, I think that could be a thing because electric is dearer than gas. And yet this disaster is all because of the Ukraine war and we can't get gas. I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe I'm just sensible. But, yeah.
It just seems to me, I mean, I suppose what we ought to do really is let's see, what we got? We've got people saying, I mean, yeah, like Mark said, £1.85 to have a shower. Well, that's okay because I'm in too much pain at the minute to be able to have a shower.
Yeah, I tend to shower 3 times a week.
Once a week, and just hope that my wife doesn't, you know, I kind of sense how far away from me she is in bed, and then I go, okay, I better try and do something about the cleanliness because, you know, and I think this is the thing, is that the idea that we as a community can tighten our belt, I think, is really offensive because I think most of the people I know who are already in trouble around money are already doing the brilliant budgeting. It's not like
we barely survive.
Money around. Yeah,
we barely survive, and Donna takes care of the finances because it affected my mental health. Bless her. Yeah. She takes it all upon her shoulders, and you know we get the warm home discount that you can apply for. I think you get £150 a year. But you know the government. What is it in the past? If it falls below zero for 7 consecutive days, you get X amount of pounds. I think it went up to 20 quid. But it doesn't do that for X amount of days. You'll get a drop for a couple of days and back up, or here anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
I think. Oh, cool. Sorry, I'm still quite in a lot of pain, so I'm a little bit phasey in and out. So both Zec and me are a little bit phasey in and out today. So
my pain level's all right. It's just the brain's gone today.
Yeah, no. My pain is just unbelievable. Yeah, no. Mark's saying he washes his clothes every 2 weeks. I must admit, we do. I mean, there's only 2 of us, which is good. And Diane is very small, so her clothes, if I could wash her whole wardrobe, it would take up a whole load. My trousers come up to there on Diane.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm not going to be.
If I wash my clothes, it takes up the washing machine. It's all easy, but hers, loads of time. So yeah, but I must admit, I'm everything is becoming something you think about.
But this is the problem. We do, and we've done it for so long. Cuts, you know, we've not had increases in line with inflation for welfare, etc. Carers don't get paid, and we survive. And we keep surviving. And so I think they'll survive. They keep doing it. It's kind of like almost like a keep letting out the rope, how far till they drop.
I mean, it's funny because I think this is something that's becoming more prevalent in society, as being the real voice of doom. But I do think that there's a growing feeling that kind of we're not worth it. Do you know what I mean? We're not when I saw my doctor, God knows how long ago it was now, about 4 or 5 months, and told him I was in this much pain. Admittedly, the amount of pain I was in then is not the amount of pain I'm in now. It's got much worse. He was very much like, well, you know, that's sort of tough. That's what happens to people like you as you get older. As if, well, diddly pom. And it's like, I'm only 57. Yeah. You know, I'm not like 102. It's not like, well, you know, you've had a good innings. You know, it's like, so.
I think the one that's really winding me up is the old, and I shouldn't judge, but I think they're Tories. And they said, well, hang on. In the 50s and the 60s, I lived in a house that had no central heating. We had no double glazing. There was ice on the inside of the windows. And yes, the house I lived in, where my mum was born, in the front room, you had to light the coke stove, literally get a fire going and put the coke in to get hot water. There was a fire in every room, not that it was lit. There was ice on the inside. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But why should... Because you went through that, you should think, no, I don't want it to happen again. Not, well, I did it. Off your trot.
Well, more importantly, what they don't tell you about that is shitloads of people died.
Yeah.
My mum grew up in a house like that. Her elder brother died at the age of 4. Everyone, the whole family went on about this older brother that died, and they had a son, and then they had a load of daughters, and the son died. And the idea that, well, it wasn't that bad in my day. Well, apart from the cholera and the diphtheria and the and the freezing to death and the no food and the rickets, and it's
this that Mark mentions is a good point. Someone said to me, well, you've got internet. And I will gladly skip 2 meals a week to have internet to pay for the month, because this is my social life, like many people here on the comments. Sorry, I got Tic Tacs in my mouth. It's my social life.
That's probably the least professional thing we've done on this show in the entire time we've been doing it. Eating while presenting.
I shook my Tic Tacs at you. I know I can. I'm here. Oh, look, it's disappearing. I'm here saying I can't afford to live, and I've got a pack of Tic Tacs.
Oh, wow, a pack of invisible magic Tic Tacs.
Yeah. I stole
Look
them
at
from.
that.
I stole them
That's
from.
So
you can't see the green ones, can you? You can only see the orange. Magic. I stole them from the grandkids.
Of course, you've got what I've got, isn't it? You've got
the orange and lime ones.
You've got painkiller mouth. I've just realised that I haven't got any water near me because my mouth, I'm talking, is going.
Now's the time for an ad break. You two can get the show reusable bottle from Show.
I've got to start doing that.
I literally, I have this
I'll just check the messages on my Pixel 5, not quite the Pixel 6. Hopefully, maybe
I've got a holder on my wheelchair everywhere I go. So it's in the go yesterday. This is with me, and it keeps the drinks cold because, as Mick says, painkiller mouth, it's dry through the night. This is beside my bed. I'm waking up, and So I mean, basically,
it's funny, right? DJ Palsy P, right, has said he was getting ESA,
right?
Didn't realise that he didn't have SDP, which is a severe disablement payment, right? Which he should have been doing. And this is something that really happens a lot and no one knows. And it even happens to people who work. Because severe disablement payment.
Right.
Exactly. You're probably entitled to it. I'm probably, I was probably entitled to it when I was on it out of work in the early noughties. They don't tell you when you're entitled to stuff. No, they only come after you when you're not. When I started...
You have to find it. It's like a game.
Yeah. When I started my consultancy, doing access and equality in about 2008, I went and I sort of said, oh, can I get tax credits? Because someone said to me, you can get disability tax credits. So they looked at my first earnings and they went, oh, yeah, it's not very much. Of course, you can get tax credits. Brilliant. But then I started earning like proper money.
Yeah.
So then the next year you send them in and they go, oh, well, you're still not earning the amount you should, but it's more than you were last year. So you owe us some money. Here's more money, but you owe us money. And it became, until one day we got this like knock at the door from bailiffs. And they were like, we're coming around to take stuff away from you because you owe us money unless you. So we had to pay about $8,000 in back tax credits because of the way they work them out.
Can't you just say my name's Dido Harding?
But I wanted the disability tax credits that apparently you can get, but I've never worked out how you get them. And this is the problem, is that there is probably, there's millions of people out there not getting the benefits that they deserve, which means they're not going to get the support they deserve, and they're going to be poorer than they should be. But no one talks about that. You get all the fraud, blah, blah, fraud. And we all watch Saints and Scroungers, and they bang on about someone.
And then we watch them throw away billions on track
when they're playing football. But they never talk about all of the disabled people who are not being given the money that they deserve. And I think this is going to be another one of those things where, whoever comes in next will be handing out money, hand over fist. But will they be telling the right people how to get it? And I don't think they will.
No, they've already been saying that the way to improve all this problem is crack down on welfare because we're the problem.
And also give tax relief.
Yeah.
Cut taxes. So I mean, let's put our political hats on for a minute. I don't have a hat. Oh, hang on, I have a cushion. You have been condemned. It's the grey cushion.
You look like one of the old ultra-Orthodox Jews with your furry.
But the truth is that this is not a normal situation, is it? It's not like,
no, it's not.
Like when we were young. I mean, when I remember the 70s, the OPEC problem, the power cuts, the 3-day week, all to do with oil, right? This is to do with a section of our society. Well, I'm going to use the term raping the country.
Go for it. I think that is justified.
Taking the profits. It's saying profit over everything. Because if a company was actually struggling to fund the power that they're providing, or the gas or whatever,
fair enough,
then surely they would not be making billions in profit every quarter.
Also, don't forget the gas. Now, the gas, we used to have massive gas storage facilities. Now, I believe that Liz Truss was part of getting rid of them. So what's happening is the gas we've got now, we can't store. So we're selling it off to other countries at inflated prices, making profit. But then we're going to need to get it back in the winter at inflated prices.
Well, apart from anything else, we are a country surrounded by sea.
I don't know about a tree.
We are quite a windy country.
Yes.
And when we're not windy, it's quite sunny. So where was the investment in wind, solar and wave energy? This has happened. We didn't know this was going to happen. Well, it didn't just pop up.
No.
And I mean, it's funny. Did anyone see Joe Lycett this morning?
No, I didn't.
Oh dear. It was. Look it up on all of the social media. He's blowing up, shall we say? And basically, he went on a political chat show, one of his discussion shows, and did the best owning of a political show I've ever seen, where he pretended to be ultra right wing and basically said what right wing people would be saying, but also said what the left wing and anyone sensible, not even the left wing, might be saying, but like in inverted commas. So he said what he thought, but he painted it as if, well, we all know that the woke liberal types will be saying this, but I don't, because I'm very right wing. Genius. And of course, what's her face, Koonsberg didn't know what to do, because he was saying she's trying to get balance, and he's buggering up the balance by being the balance. If you see what I mean, he's saying what the balance would be, and so she's going, well, politics is very difficult and things change. Oh well, yes. Some people might say that the Tories have been in for 12 years, and the people we've got now are the dregs, and Liz Truss is the backwash. I wouldn't say that because I'm ultra right wing, and it was great because that's the truth. We vote, and loads of people are saying, "Oh, well, comedians shouldn't be on these kind of shows." But the point is, politicians have not ruled our country properly for a very long time. I think.
No,
and it's meant.
It's criminal. I think it's fair to say their rule has been criminal.
We, the vulnerable, have been really expendable from day one. Yeah. I mean, it started under Blair, the going after of us. The New Labour, neoliberal, left wing. I don't know what the hell they were, but anyway, he started it, but it kind of didn't work as well. But he laid the groundworks for what happened afterwards with Pitt and all of this stuff. And we were painted as being this expensive thing. if you've got middle class, wealthy TV people complaining about the fact they can't afford to heat the house,
then
you know something is wrong. But what has happened is it's taken this long for what we have been going on about for years to impact the majority. And who knows what's coming next? I've got no idea. I can't really see what the public will do. I think it was Owen Jones did a kind of video piece saying, what will it take to get people on the streets? And it's true. You know, if your friends and family and yourself are going, can I turn up my heating by 1 degree? Or should I have a sandwich for dinner? Do you know what I mean? Wow, Disco Zec!
What's going on? Why am I there twice? There we go.
I don't know. That was good.
I thought it was froze. I was like, oh dear, Mick's frozen. And then I disappeared.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm sorry. I've got to sit down. My bloody calf.
I think the thing is, I mean, there's lots of advice going on out there. The first thing I'm going to say to is everyone, with your water, with your gas, with your electric, make sure you are registered as a vulnerable person.
Yes.
Make sure you do that. That way they shouldn't be able to cut you off. Now, there's lots of advice about stop paying your bills, make complaints. Be careful. The worst people to be hit will be those with a prepayment meter. If you stop paying and you're on a smart meter, they don't even need to come into your home. They can just automatically switch you to prepayment. So therefore, they won't be cutting you off, but you've run out and the house goes black and you're paying more for your power anyway. But what we're doing is we're cancelling our direct debit because what I can't risk is then going, here's your bill, reaching into my bank account and pulling all the money out. Yeah. So Donna's setting up a standing order and she is going to continue paying what we're paying now. And we've told them we're in trouble. We're in serious shit. Please. British Gas, this is. And then they send out this thing in response to people saying, I'm cancelling my direct debit. How do you get your help? Well, when your direct debit payment goes through, you will receive this payment. They didn't mention anything else. Apparently, it's the same for standing order with a cash check, whatever, but they forgot to include that, and it came across. And then, I mean, I put a lovely post up on satonmybutt.co.uk.
A very good site that everyone should visit.
If you can't pay, don't worry, we're here to help you. And when you click on it, what you reads like a threat. Literally, I'm not kidding you. British Gas help page, if you cannot afford to pay, reads like a threat. Go and check it out. You know, if you don't pay, well, the bailiffs will come. Your credit will dip through, fall through the floor. You could end up on a prepayment meter. And it's scary reading it. It is not help in any way. It is basically saying, don't you dare deprive our shareholders of more caviar.
Yes. I must admit, I have an insight into what it was like to suddenly get a large bill, because when I moved into my flat in 2008, we didn't get an electricity bill for about 3 years. And it was strange. We kept contacting them and saying, you know, this is it. And then one day we got an electricity bill for I was about to say where I live. That'd have been good, folks. And I live in a block of flats with 177 flats in it. And I got an electricity bill for the block, not for my flat, but for every flat in the block.
That was very kind of you.
It was about, I think it's £10,500.
Oh, that's just a standard bill now.
I mean, now we know that's going to be like that. That's a bargain price.
That's your standing order, standing rate.
TV person's house, but it was just like, what? And the rigmarole to get it sorted, because of course we were on direct debit. They hadn't taken it out yet, so we haven't been. We've always been on standing order because of the fact that they balls up everything. But we have got an issue that a lot of other disabled people. Oh, Zec's gone completely now. It's going to be bad, this, because he's the one running the actual live program. So if we go, don't go anywhere. We'll be back. But anyway, so talking to myself here. Two Zecs, three Zecs, one Zec. I've got no idea what's going on.
I'm going to tell you what's happening. It's the Labour Party. I blame the Labour Party because Mrs. Richardson is on there talking to her friends from the Labour Party, streaming at the same time as me for a bloody council meeting. Blame the. So I'm just gonna plug myself in via Ethernet, talk amongst yourselves.
Actually, that's quite interesting because we've got Avril coming on in the future to talk about how councils let down their electorate by implementing all these active travel things. So there you go. There's his armpit, ladies and gentlemen. See, this is live television presented by the people that also produce it. We're not saying Disability Horizons that we finally need some investment, but can we have some, please? Anyway, I've got what I was saying now. Anyway, never have two people on heavy doses of painkillers present anything. Well, let's try and be a bit more constructive, shall we? I'll let him just keep swearing in the background, because there are solutions out there. Let's have a look. Right. There's I was sent some fantastic information. Oh, where's he doing now? I can hear myself.
Oh, you can't, you poor thing.
Yeah, there was someone sent me some fantastic information from a website, but basically aimed at charities and aimed at spreading information. But luckily, because I work now at Fab, I get a lot of this stuff. And we were sent through some funding places to go to, where community groups and people can get funding. But also,
hang on, I've got that. 1 minute.
Some other stuff about how to cut energy bills. So we will put them in the chat. And if you go to the website, there's one you see.
That's grant funding.
That's grants. And one of the grants specifically is for people with disabled children, which I think is really important.
Bloody kids get everything.
I know, they get it all, don't they? Bloody rubbish. But anyway, well, we could just, but couldn't we end up as being big babies? Like, do babies?
I am.
I'm a baby. I've got this, our wives will have to go, I've got this disabled child. He looks quite large. Well, that makes it even harder to eat. Yeah. I mean, feeding this baby is ridiculous. But that funding is something to look into. And there is some, oh my God, my computer decides to do the weirdest things. It's just said, would you like to see what you were doing 4 years ago? No. There's also Disability Horizons has an article. Oh
no, that's not it.
That's not the one.
It's so professional tonight. She's got me flustered.
DisabilityHorizons.com and seek it out if you can find it.
It's on the front page.
It's on the front page, so that's brilliant.
It's about fuel poverty, yeah.
The Daily Mirror had an article about myths, things like this hob thing, putting water on the hob rather than the kettle. It's rubbish. But there are some that are true.
Kettles are very efficient. A saucepan isn't as efficient as a kettle.
It would depend what kind of cookie you got, really. But so standby, get all your tellies off, turn them off.
Yep.
But not on standby, turn them off.
And even a lamp, if your lamp's not on, like in the lounge, if it's plugged in and switch off at the lamp, it's still using electricity.
Most things are. Also, never charge your mobile phone overnight, apparently.
No? Why?
Because apparently it charges up and then you carry on charging and it carries on using electricity. So charge.
But I thought they were all smart now, and I thought that they knew when they were charged and they stopped charging. No? Did I dream that?
But having your charger plugged in uses energy, so therefore, oh, hang on, I'm moving about so much I can't keep my camera right. There we go. So apparently that's not a good thing to do. That was my phone. Someone's just contacted me. Whatever. So.
Hi, Mick. It's British Gas. We're cutting you off.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Mark. I've also, Mark saying, I've got smart sockets on some devices. And yeah, I guess they are. I don't know what the draw is on them. I would have to look into it. It's things like, it doesn't sound like a lot. I've got a water feature. I like my water feature in the summer. And I left it on overnight because, well, the hedgehogs were thirsty because I knew because they were digging in the slate. I know I'm a soppy old sod. I can't have my water feature on for the birds to drink over the winter. See what you've done, Tories, you heartless bastards. Not only could I be dead on the lounge floor, there could be a pigeon lying in the garden. Really
and a hedgehog curled into a
corpse. No, they'll be asleep
ball.
by then, hopefully.
But it's
shaving with razors will make a comeback. Right, Avril, that's it. No, right. No, I've had enough. I'm not talking to her anymore. No. Shaving with razors.
I always wet shave. I have an electric razor for when I'm lazy and I can't be bothered. But I mostly wet shave, so that's fine. But then you've still got to run the hot water.
Can I just say, this doesn't save money because, I mean, I'm lucky I reviewed them, but it's like, well, I need some beard oil and I need some moustache wax. And I save time. I don't shave.
Any of that crud. Just don't wash it. Let all the slime and food and plait it.
My grandson come up to me the other week and went, oh, go. And he reached in, grabbed something out my beard and ate it. And off he went. I'm like, what? That was mine. But yeah, we've got energy monitoring smart devices. We've got one of these smart meters. They really make you paranoid because you put the kettle on and it goes.
The thing is, all of this it's like all of this to me is like taking vitamins when you got cancer, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's not right. The problem is bigger than turning off your kettle and turning off your telly. The problem is we cannot have our energy being sold to us to make billions of pounds of profit per quarter. We've got to understand this is billions, so it's 1,000 million. Right? So you go all the way up to 1 million, and you start again and go all the way to 2, and then to 3. And you keep doing that until you get to 1,000, right? And that's 1 billion. They've made up to 6 billion in a quarter. So you go to 1 billion, then you go back to 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. You do a million. Then
someone put in it in seconds. You know, if this is if a pound is a second, how much is a billion? It was like years.
Yeah, it's 32. In fact,
let's face it, our gas, our electricity, our water should not be for profit. These are basic life support systems at the end of the day.
Okay, so let me find, where are you? You are there. Right.
I'm here.
1 billion seconds, hang on, 1 billion minutes is 1,092 years.
That's mad, isn't it?
Right.
So if I've got a pound, I've got a minute.
Right. So if you've got a pound, you've got a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
My cold weather payment gives me 20 minutes if it goes below 0 for a week.
Brilliant. 150 pounds, that's 150 minutes.
Yeah.
1,092 years for 1 billion.
And they're multi-billionaires.
So for 6 billion, it's 6,000 and nearly 600
It's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years. And we are going, oh, well, you know, it's good for pensioners because they've got private pensions. I don't know about you. I don't. You don't. We're coming up to pensioning age. My stepfather is a pensioner. He's not doing well out of it. Any dividends he's getting out of it is poxy little pension from his job.
Not because it can't be
well
done.
Outweighed by what he's got to pay on it. We paid 2.7 billion to keep one energy company afloat, and apparently it would cost 2.8 billion to take all energy back into public ownership.
Yeah, we subsidise EDF.
All of this stuff, because I used to work in the railways, right? And all the people in the railways go, oh, God, it was so awful under British Rail. Was it? Was it really? Oh, the food was terrible. Have you ever eaten anything on a train recently? All food in the 70s was rubbish. It wasn't British Rail food. All food. Has anyone watched Floyd on Food and watched the slots that he used to serve up? It was grey mush. But yet, it was cordon bleu grey mush. Food was rubbish. So saying that the food was rubbish on British Rail is completely unfair. The service well, I don't know about you, but most service in the 70s was rubbish. We hadn't quite grasped service. We were still quite bad at it. But I used to work for Network Rail. Network Rail is partially owned by the country. It's a kind of private, it's an arm's length nationalised company. And it did, I think, very well. But it was, the problem was you were working with private and public, and it was all very bad. Put it all in public ownership, and if the worst comes to the worst, if the service is worse, it can at least be cheaper. Or it could be the same price, but you put the in fact, it was 6.9 billion pounds a quarter.
Yeah.
So let's say it's 13 billion. That's 26 billion. That's 52 billion pounds a year. Okay, so do your maths, right? 1,092 years for 1 billion. That's 50.
We're not going to be alive when we get there.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if you got that money, you can put it back into the country, couldn't you?
Yeah, and
you know, borrowing.
It's
we've got to borrow all this
can't be done.
Off.
You know, I can't. My brain is fried. I'm going to admit, but was it Germany or Spain? Basically, any railway journey and it was hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Yep.
Was it free or like silly money? And then France. Well, no, they let them have 4% raise on their energy. They can swallow the rest. There are Germany, France, Spain, they're all doing things. And yes, our governments have said, so around here, yes, a bus journey will only cost £2 for the next 3 months. But, you know, and there's things like that, but it can be done. What this is people who've been to a school, waggling their school tie or showing their school sock with a special colour and going, come and make some money. We saw it with Royal Mail. They gave all their mates the nudge, have a look at this, sell it off cheap. The next day, if they sold the next day, they doubled their money or something silly. And we're not talking people going, I'll have 5 shares in Royal Mail. We're talking about millions of pounds worth.
Yeah. The key is that this is a point at which we do have to say, what do you want? What do you want for your country? What do you want for, you know, I mean, like at Fab, we work a lot with disabled people and families with disabled kids, right? What do you want for those people? You know, what is your dream? Is your dream to be a country that starts voicing things that come from the Nazi textbook? You know, you're expendable, you're difficult, you're expensive, you're useless eaters, Untermensch type things. Or do you want a country which is fair? We're not, you know, no left wingers saying you don't need rich people. We're not all, you know, rabid communists, but we do say that the rich shouldn't be so rich that the poor, including TV personalities that houses cost £13,000 a year to heat, are so worried about heating that they do stuff like, oh, well, should I boil a kettle? Oh no, I better not boil a kettle. I won't drink. I won't wash. I won't, you know, I'm going to spend all winter in ice on the inside wearing a jumper. Right?
You know, people point the finger at us, but you've got people like going, I've mentioned this before, go back to Lewis Hamilton, who employs a man because he wants a private jet, who says, bring it in through the Isle of Man, you'll save yourself £1.5 million. You're buying a fucking private jet. Stop being a tight-ass bastard. If you can't afford to pay that extra £1.5 million on the tax, don't get a private jet or get one that has got a little bit of fabric instead of leather on the back or something. Just pay your way in this country if you are making that much money.
I always think it's funny because the argument is, isn't it, is if you increase tax, they'll leave. My answer is go. Because you're not benefiting us. No one can say that the billionaires have made our lives easier. Oh, I just want to say, I've just done the maths. The one company, I think it was Shell, but don't hold me to that, sue legal people.
Could be BP.
One of them was 6.9 billion pounds for a quarter, which equates in years to 54,600. So that equates to about the same amount of time that humans have had society. So basically, if you went back in the amount of time in equivalent 1 year for a pound, well, 1 minute for a pound, you'd end up in a society where where we were still banging rocks together, and we didn't worry about these things because not only have we not got electricity, we were still banging people on the heads and dragging them into caves. So when you think about this, it really does mean we've got to do something. And I didn't actually think this program would get quite so political, but I kind of might be in trouble because, of course, as a CEO of a major charity, I can't be too political. But this is my own thoughts on the whole thing.
Wait. It's okay. It's okay. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. I think it's time at least to start the discussion.
I've never felt like, used to hear Russell Brand saying, all the people, we need to go out, we need to protest, we need to be on the streets. And I just think, you crazy, stupid man. I think when people start getting even colder, even hungrier, and the shit really hits the fan, and if they don't step in and do something, it's going to hit the fan, we will see civil unrest on the streets. And there's not the police to deal with it because the Tories cut them all.
Now, Mark has just said the super rich do pay some insane tax. Alan Sugar's tax bill last year was 390 million. But now,
he's a good one. He does pay his way, though, Sugar, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's still a maniac about working from home. But
he is.
What I'd like to know is, so how much did he earn if that's his tax bill?
What, they own 50% on his own?
It's kind of, it just makes me, at what point do you say that's enough?
I don't think there's a need to be a billionaire. They talk about people hoarding. They're poke fun at the old boy who's got a house full of newspapers and is hoarding. But billionaires are hoarders. They cannot spend this money. They cannot spend it.
I mean, I get it that you're a billionaire on paper and you run companies and you have, billions of pounds of assets. But even then, I mean, because Tories talk a lot about Victorian values. But to me, to look at the Victorian era as a golden age is ridiculous.
Well, Rees-Mogg does. He's still living there.
It was a nightmare for all concerned, apart from a very sliver at the top. But one of the things that the very rich did was philanthropy.
Yes.
Where's that? I mean, if I worked for one of these energy companies and I went, well, we've made 6.9 billion in a quarter, I'd say, do you know what? I'm going to set up a fund for people who can't pay, and I'm going to put 2 billion in it. Yeah. Because to be honest, 4.9 billion is pretty good going for a quarter.
Not bad, is it?
Do you know what I mean? And then what would we do? We'd be, we need to tax them, but they're very good. And but no, it's all ours, mine, my precious. And that's it. And it's like, we can't have it. You just can't,
I have to say, it's
been a bit of a weird one. We've gone off on a very weird tangent.
I try not to pay too much attention to it because it does get to me. And then on the other hand, I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. This can't happen. It's literally that. They couldn't allow it. They're not going to allow this to happen. That's not humane. No, they're not, are they? But I think they are. I hope they're not. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that old Liz Truss, with all of her hyper-intelligence, steps into office as Prime Minister and ignores the cheese problems and focuses on those that are going to fucking die like they did with COVID, literally going to die either through cold, through starvation, or through both, or because their mental health gets so bad that they think, I can't do this. Oh, sorry. No, he was wrong. His tax bill.
No, it's corrected. It's 59 billion.
See, bloody left wing coming on here with their fake news.
See, again, 59 million out of an income of 390 million. That ain't bad going. No. I've just started a proper paid job. My first payment was 360 quid for an amount of work. 706 pounds. You know what my tax bill was? £706 because I'm on emergency tax because they've copped me tax up. So in August, I earned nothing. So this is what I mean.
Well, you have just been sat on the settee.
And 1 rule for them. And I'm working hard on the settee, as like today. Here I am in agony, presenting to you wonderful people. I want to roll around. You've noticed me bouncing around. What I've actually been doing is trying not to go, ow, wow, and curl up in a ball. I'll do that when I've finished. But I think that, so let's end this on a high. What we've got to do is support each other.
Yes.
Don't you think? We've all got to come together. We've got to use social media, shows like this. If you have some good ideas for how to cope with the crisis going forward into winter, come on the show. Please come on the show.
We're going to have to revisit it. The lights won't be on. It will be a lot darker. I'm just going to say it. This sounds really bad, but it's kind of like the signing off on these apocalypse shows where, you know, goodbye. I wish you luck. You know, I'll see you on the other side. Kind of.
It's scary actually because Avril has probably said. Avril just said in the comments, hot water bottles, thermal underwear, microfiber blankets.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have put four or five things in my Amazon wishlist basket, and I have been. There's been some lovely people who, not often, but in the past, have brought a couple of bits. I've put some bits in there and I've shared it on social media. Things that I need, like a decent blanket for the settee so I can sit there huddled up moaning about the Tories and be warm.
I mean, funnily enough, I haven't actually even mentioned the fact that for many disabled people, because of their impairment, they can't keep warm.
No.
Because I've got spinal cord injury, right? Homeostasis, as it's called, the body's ability to keep your level temperature, goes out the window. I don't know when my legs are cold. I can't feel it. Hot and cold, can't feel. So I can become hypothermic, and I only know when I fall asleep. And my wife only knows when I start falling asleep. So heating is important, but it's a right old balls up. We don't really have any advice, but we do have a call to arms, do we not? Have we not had one of those shows where we've got a few bits of advice, but mostly we've just been going, what's going on? It's all gone weird.
I mean, what are we gonna say when Martin Lewis says, if I came round your house, I'm sorry, I couldn't really do anything to make a difference.
Yeah.
The money saving expert.
It'd be great to get someone like Martin on the show, but he would just spend 40 minutes doing what we've done. I don't know what to do. I can't tell you anything. You're probably doing it all already. Why are they doing this? We're all screwed. Cry, cry, cry. Yeah. And like I said, I've watched, you know, I follow him quite closely. And I've been amazed, you know, I've really been hurt for him watching his mental health go down. And he's freely admitted it. You know, he had to come off social media because not only is he
did, and he came back just when the price cap went up.
Yeah. Not only has he been doing all this, but he's also been attacked by all the right-wing troll types that are like, oh, it's all rubbish. Why don't they just wear a jumper? And, you know, like we did in the war. And it's like, well, you know, we'll see. We'll see, folks. We'll come back to it. And I suppose there isn't a way of ending this on a high, is there?
Let's just say I won't be sat here in a T-shirt in the winter. No. It will. And I will be keeping my internet on. I will. We cancelled our Virgin broadband and our TV, and we've gone with a cheaper broadband provider, as you can tell. Yeah. And, you know, we've got no live TV now, no recording. I'm just going on and streaming BBC iPlayer. And Donna says, let's watch The Voice. And I tell you, that's what the Tories have done. I'm sitting through 15 adverts and loads of sob stories before they come on the scene where I normally fast forward. Fuckers. I have a problem with The Voice. When The Voice started, I was contacted by The Voice and told to come in because they wanted me on the show. And I came in and did my best, and it was a wonderful performance. And it was actually just so they could say they'd seen disabled people as part of the audition process. It's like when I was asked to... What, you mean you could have been Will.i.am?
I was one of the singers. And I was also asked to do Big Brother. Yeah. And then told, no, I'm sorry, you're too famous to do Big Brother. And then I applied. I said, oh, so should I do Celebrity Big Brother? And they went, no, you're not famous enough. I was caught in the middle. And that's, lovely viewers, I think, is where we'll leave it.
I think we will.
Thinking of me being too famous and not famous enough, it's like Schrodinger's fame. Sorry, physics joke.
It is. Show the clip of Mick on the zip wire to end, says Avril. We need to hear it up.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
I do. I honestly, I really wish you all luck over the winter. And I'm sorry that we're all in this. But yeah, if you
we're
want
going to be
cheering
there
up,
with you, as long as we've got lights to turn on and power to present and the things, we'll be there. Whether you can watch it or not,
I'll be on my mobile phone if I have to. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I've got the same, so we'll probably do the same.
But yeah, well, no.
God.
Right, we're going to say goodbye now, and we're going to end with this. We will see you next time, and we've got
2 weeks' time. We've got someone from Habinteg coming on to talk about accessible housing, as it is Accessible Housing Month week, I think. Whatever month, I think it's month. And we're going to be talking a lot about that. So if you've got any experiences of getting it, not having it, what you need, the nightmare, all this stuff, come on, and we'll be talking about that next time. And then after that, we've got Avril coming on to talk about active travel, LTNs, and all that stuff. So that should be a bun fight. So, with that,
start inviting the viewers on. We don't have any viewers if you keep inviting them on.
Oh my God! I want to die! And there you go. And I've still got time to read my paper.